In your opinion, what are the main reasons for the lack of demand for technocrats in the Indian job market, despite there being formidable competition to get into any reputed institute?
Well, competition for getting into a reputed institute is driven by esteem, by safety factor, because when boys pass out high school, they feel that the best thing they have to do, the safest thing they have to do is to go for engineering career. Thereafter, they can switch whatever they do. And unfortunately, engineering career has become a stepping stone rather than the goal. So they compete, they scramble over each other, they compete for the formidable competition to get entry, get a toehold in reputed institutes, only to forget the technology later and start looking for other things which are not so exciting for a technocrat, maybe to go into things like financial management and investment banking and, MBA, marketing and administrative services, to name a few. Yeah. So then they find other pastures to be greener. That's why it is a law of gravity. So whatever will fetch them the maximum rise against a tall hierarchy, so they will run towards that. So that is what is happening. They are gravitating towards a faster moving career all the time. So the technology, again, not that demand is not there. The demand is there, but at low level. Because there are no senior level openings in technology. Because all the seniors we push into becoming managers already. So technocrats, if somebody goes in a design function, maybe in a company, how much he can rise? He will become senior designer, chief designer. Beyond that, what? Suppose somebody has expertise in designing, let us say, engines for the vehicles. He is an engine designer. Okay. He cannot become a general manager, obviously. He will become chief designer for an engine. But that is only 2 or 3 levels above the entry level. Whereas his contemporary, who is in, say, shop floor, in operations or in marketing, he would have become general manager and CEO and vice president and senior vice president and whatnot. So it generates always a factor of relative comparison. The middle class has a trait, a nasty trait, that we compare everything with others. So we compare and we benchmark and we see the neighbor is earning so much. He was my room partner, he has reached where, and I am only here. Now this thing is generating a lot of dissatisfaction, disenchantment, and it is a demotivating factor against the guys taking on the technology career. Other factor is, talking from the industry point of view, see, technology trading is much more rampant than technology development. So people try to trade in technology, they try to cheaply import, get things, at best do with only screwdriver technology as far as possible. So with minimal investment, with minimal capex, with minimal competence, whatever can be done, that is what is being done. Now for that kind of thing, why do you require a super intelligent IIT grad? You don't require. Frankly, you don't require. And then that is what happens. When these people do join industry doesn't know what to do with them, where to fit them. So it is both ways. But isn't it something abnormal for our size of country that we have no demand for technology? Much smaller countries elsewhere have much more positions which are core technology positions. But in our such a big country, we don't have any positions for technocrats, any positions which could be enviable, which somebody would aspire for. That is the stark reality. And that is where something has to start happening. Right? So as I always said, if government does something where the wages and status is standardized, for example, instead of leaving it everything to market forces, let market decide the salary level for XYZ. Government should pitch in there and said that no, you have so many members in your family, you have so many years of experience and so much is the qualification, so your salary shall be so much. Nothing more, nothing less. There can be some incentive for super performance, etc. But then super performance does not happen at individual level. See, a company, an organization is a chain, and chain is as good as the weakest link. So this relative gradation that we have in academia is also doing the damage. When you talk of percentile, you are basically seeing how many people I am leaving behind. So everybody else becomes your competition, and because everybody else becomes your competition, there cannot be a collaboration. So the teamwork takes a backseat. Everybody becomes selfish, everybody starts thinking selfishly. So now this is something which has to be managed. This is something which has to be corrected. Okay. People have to work as a team, people have to work as a community, people have to help each other, people have to support each other, people have to complement each other in traits. If somebody has some traits, somebody else should have some other complementing traits, and together they have to work as a system. So you can't be very individualistic when you measure things like super performance. Okay. All super performance do super performance, but then organization goes to dogs. Now that is what is happening, right? Now this is something which needs to be corrected and looked into.